Let let that just wash over you for a moment. Shine and be glorious, for that is who you are. That is who you are. This month we've been talking about nature, all aspects of nature. We've spoken initially, or I've spoken and you've graciously listened, initially about the planet, Earth. Then I spoke about the aspects of water and nature. And last week I spoke about the animal kingdom of nature. And this week I'm going to speak about, guess what? Us. Us human beings is nature. Now, last week I spoke about the animal kingdom and I kind of was a little rough on us human beings. Yeah, I was a little rough on us human beings. I was speaking about the fact that we think that we're superior to all creatures, which, could be whatever it is. But I reflected on that afterwards and I thought, I've been kind of giving you guys a sternness about these things. And the fact of the matter is, if God is all there is, and we are individualized expressions of that divine presence, it would be natural for us to say we are naturally divine. So sit with that for just a moment and allow yourself to feel what it feels like when you say either aloud or just a soft whisper, I am naturally divine. And let it just resonate. What does it feel like? What does it sound like when you actually say it? I'm naturally divine. And if you're comfortable or uncomfortable, say to a neighbor or even to someone randomly across the room, I'm naturally divine. Thank you for doing that, and now sit with that feeling. Did it feel good? Okay, I was going to say, did it feel awkward? Yeah, felt awkward for some folks and great for other folks. And that's what I wanted you to experience. What does it feel like? And so, here's the thing that's so interesting is in me saying last week we're superior beings and feeling whatever that felt like, I think the reason that we actually even sometimes posture about feeling superior in situations is because we really don't. Most of us don't feel that way about ourselves. Most of us were raised with the idea that to love thyself is conceited, it's selfish. Let's just say there's a lot of negative connotations to love thyself. And if you sit with that, then there's that next one, self-centered. You ever been told when you think about yourself and put yourself first, you are so self-centered? Yeah. So we were raised with the understanding that if we think about ourselves and put ourselves first, that's not a good thing. But here's the interesting thing. How can we possibly feel fulfilled, tap into that unique God essence that we are, if we're so uncomfortable with embracing ourselves as the beloved? Yeah. It feels weird, and then for some of us who've gotten really used to embracing that love of self, we think, no, it's actually delightful. It actually feels good to my being to smile and say, shine, be glorious, because that is who I am, the son and the daughter of the most beloved. And so I want to take this time about naturally divine to speak about a few things instead of a bunch of scientific aspects of how we're connected to all things and such and stuff. Well, what I've recognized is in order for me to be connected to we, I have to have a relationship where I'm connected to myself deeply so that I can then look at thee and recognize our connection and our beauty and our light and how we are connected. And then I can see us as a we. But until I have that relationship with myself, personally, I can't have that deep relationship with you because I don't know how to have it until I can have it with myself. So I was having a conversation with my brother yesterday. And my brother is a very deep, insightful, emotionally based man who's very truthful with me. We've always been extremely honest. And when either one of us is off a little bit on course, we gently bring each other home in the remembrance of whom we are. And he smiled, and I could feel him smile. Of course, he didn't smile on the phone, but maybe he did. He was reminding me that, we spend a lot of time focused outwardly because, again, we were raised not to focus inwardly because that self-centered stuff isn't good for us. So we look for validation, acknowledgement, joy, all aspects outside with different elements in the world. We look at our successes and everything outwardly. And how often do we go within and reflect on all of those things? We look for other people to fill us up. We look for situations, jobs, projects to support us, fill us up, make us feel valuable. Now, it's not to say those aren't good things to feel valuable about, but what would it take to feel valuable and acknowledged and heard by ourself, starting with ourself first, and to see that aspect of ourself? And what he was reminding me of is mirror work. See, we were taught years ago, you hold the mirror in front of your face. You look at the mirror so that you can see your eyes. Because if you look deeply into your eyes, oh, there was some spiritual static happening about that one, huh? Didn't like the idea of looking into your eyes in the mirror. Okay. You want to look in the mirror and see your soul, see your being, talk to yourself. And of course it feels awkward and weird and funny. Because we were also told if you look in the mirror, you're vain, and that's another bad thing. But if you look in the mirror and you see you, and you have that connection and dialogue with yourself about your uniqueness, and even tell yourself you're special, you're important, and that you will take care and honor of yourself, there's that spark of joy within that reminds you being naturally divine is your divine birthright. It genuinely is. In fact, the founder of our teaching, Ernest Holmes, says this: there is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and in so far as it operates, is God. That is the meaning of the word Emmanuel, the meaning of the word Christ. There is that which is within us that partakes in the nature of divine being. And since it partakes in the nature of the divine being, we are the divine. And that comes from a writing from 1938, page 33.4. And I want to anchor it with that so that even Ernest said way back then, it is our natural being to see the divine within ourselves. So I'm going to do something a little different than probably what you're used to having, and that's okay. Many of us that have taken classes or read the Science of Mind magazine regularly or have studied the Science of Mind textbook for some light, pleasurable reading have have become aware of what we believe, and it's called the Declaration of Principles. I want to read it to you because most of us don't pay attention to the depth of what it is. And if we're practicing this philosophy, it's really nice to remember, what do we actually believe? And I'm going to ask you to be quiet and be inward listening to this so you can hear the words, maybe for the first time with some depth. You may hear the words and some of it say, what is she talking about? You may hear the words and say, I don't think so. But pay attention to your thoughts. And by the way, it's in the Science of Mind magazine every month on page 10. No matter what, it's page 10. What we believe. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifestation itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of spirit in us, and that all people are the individualizations of the one spirit. We believe in eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of this individual soul forever and ever expanding. We believe heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be obtained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence within. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive nature and our spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through the universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by the creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in healing the sick and controlling of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of all life. And lastly, we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that that life is all that is God. Shine, be glorious. And I read that to you so that if in fact you forgot what we believe, you could remember. Or perhaps when you read the Science of Mind magazine, you can look for that and start reading it regularly for yourself, because there'll be snippets that call to you, which remind us that wherever we put our attention and our thought process is what we get to have more of. And if we want to be more of that naturally divine essence that we are, we must start with believing that about ourself. So I was looking for some different readings because personally, sometimes the things that are put out as suggested talk topics, I don't resonate with at all. Many times it's much too heady for me. And for those of you that are more left-brained, you would love it. But for many of us, you would be lost into, what is she talking about? And what does this have to do with my being a naturally divine being? So I pulled out Living the Science of Mind text, which back in the day when I took Foundations class about 20 years ago, got to read the Science of Mind text, and then we got to read this text, which was for me a little more relatable. Ernest Holmes is brilliant, was brilliant, continues to be brilliant, but the Science of Mind text is by far not your light reading. In fact, if you were told that was the only book you would ever read to understand this teaching, you might weep, because you would be sitting there in some cases baffled saying, what? Whereas this text I found to be easy and relatable. It's like, why don't they just have us read this one instead? And so I like to do what I call a cosmic reading, where I take a book and I kind of open it. And oftentimes I'll just read that, and that resonates for me. But then, of course, that's that human behavior side of me that thinks that I know better than Spirit providing the page for me to read. So, of course, I'll then look through. No, that's not the right one I'm looking for. Oh, no, that can't be it. And then I stop myself, because then I'm over-processing and not allowing God, as me, to make the choice. And so yesterday I did that process of numerous readings and said, stop. That's not the process. And I opened up a page, because I surrendered to the idea of controlling what page I would read. And what I opened was this: I am the abundance within you. Yes, yes. I am the abundance within you. And in order for you, for me, for we to genuinely get that we are naturally divine, I need to start out getting that great spirit source energy, God, whatever you choose to use in languaging, lives within me. I am what I call that unique manifestation of that source energy. And if I am the abundance within myself, if I understand that, if I'm willing to accept that as the truth, yes, I can then stand tall, smile, and be glorious in that magnificence I call myself, daughter of the beloved and the Most High. So I'm going to ask you to, again, listen to this reading. Some of you will be shaking your head thinking, oh my God, why do we have to listen to this? You don't. You don't have to listen to it. However, there might be one line, and if there's one line that rings to you, resonates to you, then it's good. And if not, you'll talk to me afterwards and let me know how that didn't work for you. And I'll take note of it and say, okay, thanks. See, I can get away with a couple of new things when I'm brand new. And then people will let me know, I didn't care much for that. And that's okay, because there's always going to be someone that loved it and someone that hated it. It's all good that way. So, I am abundance within you. I am, come that you might have a more abundant life. To those who know not their true nature, believing themselves separated from good, I am come. To those weary with disappointment and struggle, who have sought life outside of themselves. Remember I said look inward? They sought life outside of themselves. I point the way to certain salvation. I am in the midst of you, is mighty to heal, to comfort, and to prosper. I have come to arouse you from your long dream of separation, from your night of despair. The dawn has come. The sun of truth rises over the horizons of ignorance. The light dissipates the darkness. The morning dew is upon the petals. They glisten in the sun. I am that the sun of truth dwelling within the sanctuary of your heart. I am the morning star guiding you to the manger of your salvation, wherein lies the child born from your own consciousness. This inner life is your only Savior, the creator of your destiny, the arbiter of your fate. Awake, become aware of my presence, for I am life. I am not something apart from your being. I am your being, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. I am. You have thought you denied my existence by affirming lack, fear, and failure, but in reality you have merely affirmed my power to be with you, that which you believed. I am the reality of your being, but I have always appeared to you in the form of your beliefs. I am more than your conscious mind. I am that which projects the mind which you call you. I am that which creates your being and projects from the center of my own divine originality. I am the power which has bound you to your false belief. I am the presence which alone can give you freedom. Bondage and freedom are one of the same. I am, who is in the midst of your being, can project one as easily as another. Bondage does not bind me. It merely expresses me. That which you call bondage is my freedom misused. I have come to awaken you from the sense of limitation, to proclaim to you the eternal days of my abundance. I have come to acquaint you with your mind with truth, to convert your soul by reason, inspiration, and illumination to the realization that I am is all there is, besides which there is no other. Within you is the secret place of the Most High, the tabernacle of the Almighty, the indwelling God, the ever-present Father and the eternal Child. This ever-present Father and the eternal Child are one and the same being. Change the gender as you wish. I am that being. I am the all-being. I am your being. You are my being. I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am. Therefore you may know that the universal I am is also the individual I. Hence the individual I merges into the universal I am. This omnipotent, wherever good, impels the activities of its thought. For human thought is as divine as it is consciousness of me. And my omnipotent law forever obeys its will. If you can put aside your fear, which is but an expression of your sense of isolation, your sense of separation, if you can put aside all negation and turn to me alone, then you shall be free. Be still and know that I am your true self. Be still and know that I am the life principle. Be still and know that I am the truth, dispelling all error. I am the power neutralizing all weakness. I am abundance, swallowing up all lack. I am your real self. I am, out there looking inward, your true self, naturally divine. Shine. Be glorious. Just be still for a moment. Just be still. So what will it take for you as an aspect of nature to let the joy, the love, the light of whom you are, naturally divine, to rise up and not look out there for the answers that lie within you, because you have all the wisdom. Your intuitive nature, which is an aspect of your God self, knows. The answers are inside if you're willing to be still, if you're willing to listen, and if you're willing to trust that whom you are is all you need. We say that we're whole, perfect, right where we are, and right where we're not. But do we believe we are the expression of the One? Do we actually go in within and honor that part of ourself and say, who I am is amazing. I have blessings and gifts beyond measure that I can stand in my dominion to embrace. And when I am willing to embrace that as myself, then I can look at each person and see them as that mirror to me. They are a mirror, and every quality I see about them that I like or don't like are still qualities of that mirror image. And then I and you can be the we, because we'll be willing to see all from that inward knowing place. And I'm not saying looking outward is a bad thing. We're always inspired by outward activities. What I'm saying is start your day, if you don't already do so, some form of prayer. I'm surrendering. Shine, be glorious. We start each day with a grounding, a meditation, a prayer. And I invite you, if you're not doing that, to start. Doesn't need to be a long process. It could be a short affirmation. But a short affirmation you can resonate with. And that you say it periodically throughout the day to yourself. And take a moment when you do to just let it kind of wash over you. Don't just rip right through the affirmation. Say it. Let it kind of permeate. And for those of you that are willing, if you've never done mirror work, which is what I call looking in the mirror, it can be a handheld mirror, it can be right up in your bathroom mirror, it can be in your car mirror. Take time to get past the awkward feeling of this is so ridiculous, and look at your eyes and see the beauty to whom you are. Get to know that being. Get to know that light, so that when you hear the expression, you are naturally divine, it's not conceited, it's not vain, it's a part of you that smiles and says, yes. Because when I can say I am naturally divine, I can say that you too are naturally divine in that most pure, genuine way. You know, we do our closing song, and the song speaks about that about ourselves and that about one another. But do we even listen to the words? No, we just peppily sing the song and, get confused with the lyrics, but just bop around and sing it anyway. But today when we sing it, take a moment to listen to the words you're speaking out of your mouth and hear it in a different way so that it actually is part of your spiritual practice. And I'm going to invite you, for those that don't have a spiritual practice, which is embracing self-love, self-care, self-nurturing and validation, to realize it is a valuable spiritual practice. It is not selfish, even if you were told it was. It is self-care. It is self-love. And shift where you are so that you see yourself as God's source energy, great spirit sees you. A beautiful vessel of the Most High, naturally divine. So let's take a moment, if you will, and go into prayer. Let's take a moment just to stop. And maybe if you don't feel too weird, or even if you do feel weird, put your arm around yourself and notice what it's like to have a deep connection with the magnificent self that you are, and to be reminded that who you are is love. Who you are is a superior being, but not in a conceited way, in the most loving, gracious way, as great spirit, source energy, God, as you would want you to see yourself. Let us remember that as we go out into the world this week, we stand and take dominion with whom we are, sons and daughters of the Beloved. Sons and daughters, and any other pronoun that's comfortable for you, of the Beloved, so that we treat ourselves with care and respect. And I know that as we go out into the world and remember that there's I, and there's you, and there's we, that we treat our fellow earth citizens with respect and love and kindness, because we've now honored that and see that as a relationship with ourself that is outpouring and outpicturing to each and every one we meet. Knowing that this time we've shared together is good and very good, I know as I've spoken these words and released them to the action of law, the only answer could be a sacred and mighty yes. And if any of this resonates in any way with you, please anchor it by saying with me, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, now we can really get our groove on, okay?
I don't care what's on TV about the state of the economy. I don't believe most of what I see. I know what I know to be. God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so good, so good, so good all the time, all the time. I'm walking by faith and not by sight. Cause what seems wrong today, tomorrow might seem right. All is well And it's all good and unfolding as it should. 'Cause God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so good, so good, so good all the time, all the time. Well, God is so good through the highs and the lows, so good through the troubles and the woes, so good through the peaks and the valleys. So I can feel the Spirit inside me. So good, so my, I wanna testify all the time. God is so good through my darkness. God is so good. I call on the mighty God is so good to carry me through. If you believe it's true, God is so good, so good, so good all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Through my highs and lows, all the time. Through my ups and downs, all the time. There's one thing that never changes, is the grace of God. It's so good, so good, so good, so good all the time, all the time. My God is so good all the time, so good all the time, all the time. God is so good all the time, so good all the time. Well, God is so good, so good, so good all the time.
All right, let that energy just wash right all over you. Yeah. And a reminder, when we sing God is so good all the time, that is another aspect of ourself, for we are, again, God's children. So I believe it's that lovely time for joyful giving. And I want to remind everybody, when you're giving, there's many forms of giving. There's that traditional form of giving, tangible, what I would like to call green love, which is an expression of the law of circulation. And then there's also the sacred seva love. So you're always giving, okay? And for those that feel that I have nothing to give, that's a story that you told yourself, because of course you do. And sacred seva are opportunities like greeters or ushers or other opportunities that perhaps you have in your mind and heart that we don't have going on, that you could bring to us and we could start something new. So you always have a way to contribute. So I'm going to ask us to read together. From God I receive, to God I give. Together we share the blessings we live. So I'm so blessed. I am so grateful. And of course, you can always give with cash, coin, checks, or online. And we give thanks knowing that absolutely everything that you give, in whatever form you give it, serves this community to doing the good work that we do, not only in-house, but out in our community. We're always doing outreach projects that serve the greater community. So thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
Oh, we're open to it, yes.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. So blessed.
instead of just saying it out of rote. Okay? Pay attention to the words this time and see if it feels any different to you. And if you want to gather, you can. You don't have to. Whichever feels comfortable. There's no right or wrong way to share in this energy exchange, because we're just filling with love in the sanctuary. Yes? Okay.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color, intention we unite in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together.
We come together. We come together. And we do come together in the name of love. And I want to just say one thing. The reading that I read to you, if you fell asleep, I'm so sorry. If you sat there wondering, what is she talking about? That's okay. If you have a question or it really didn't resonate, then the class that I'm going to be teaching on September 24th, which is well, we call it basic because it's giving you an understanding and a solid toolbox, if you will, for what that reading was about. So sign up for class and have a wonderful, joyful experience, having greater understanding in what that's about and how it resonates to you. So if you'll all just repeat after me, something wonderful is happening. It's this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all my financial affairs and all other aspects of my being. And I take myself out into the world and share the joy that I am with another. Because remember, we come together in the name of love. So go out there and make a joyful noise, knowing that as you do that, you've added something magnificent to somebody else's life in their day. Blessings, and thanks for being here. Enjoy.
I brought some macaroni and cheese and hamburger, and there's some other snacks too besides that. So come and enjoy in the back.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing.